edge hole. So we need to put that in, and then I suggest we start over here. Cut out a bit of a ideally we'd have that fucking wheelbarrow.
Yeah.
Metal insole.
A metal insole?
Yeah.
Looking at. I weren't wearing shoes back then.
That's a metal insole. So we're digging. And Jay just came across this fella. Can you see him yet? Don't get your finger too close. Can you see him yet? There he is. Right in the centre.
Oh, the poor little soul. I didn't quite make it to the shade, did I? Oh, I'm sure I'll be fine.
Alright.
Random. I'm a bit terrified.
Why?
I don't know why it's there.
Well, whatever reason it's there for, it's ours now, so... Can we lift it, or do we need something to lift it?
I think we can lift it, but I think it's worth taking the pickaxe.
Let's take the pickaxe out.
It looks like it's a cut piece of marble.
Well, it's certainly polished, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm just wondering if it marks, like, you know.
No, surely not. Right, let's give it a lift. Let's get the pickaxe.
Okay, it just buries some bottles and a few shells.
Let's put this inside. So I've put a bit of a schist node over here, which luckily it's not granite, obviously. With granite I'd need a proper hammer drill or something similar. But with the pickaxe I'm able to just chip away at it a little bit. It's just slow going. So over there I've got schist. Tomorrow I'm bringing the SDS drill, and I'm sure that's going to make my life a lot easier. And over here I've got roots from this olive, and at least they're coming out. It's just a bit of a pain and slows me down. But that's the joy of digging, I suppose.
Shoulders remember this from yesterday. Oh, that's stone.
Now, whilst Joe's carrying on at the other end, I'm gonna try to expose this root a little bit further up and cut it off. I've got a handsaw with me today, and then I brought the SDS drill, and I'm going to try to get this to a nice 90-degree angle over here and chip some of that schist out, just a little bit that I need, because I don't like this curving round like this. So yeah, let's crack on with it. Oh, and my hands got absolutely wrecked yesterday, so I'm upgrading my gloves a little bit today. Realistically, I think that's about as far as I need to go, because we're not going to be able to dig under the olive tree anyway. So that's good enough for me. About here. Right. Okay, managed to get the root off, and it's a chunky one. Chunky chunk. I'm going to regret not bringing you defenders for this. First, let's get some of this off the top. Right. Right, so time for a little status update. So we've dug around the front and we've dug around that side to the wall. But we decided not to dig that part out. The farm, the sort of ground level slopes upwards towards the main building, which is over there. So there's quite a bit of digging down to be done over there in terms of height. I would say that's a solid 40 centimetres there, I would say, that needs to be dug down. The soil level is above where the wall starts by about that 40 centimetres. Because what we wanted to do is, before we had to walk down to basically to get in, whereas now it's on, at least this section here, is on fairly similar level, especially once we remove the concrete, which we'll be having a look at later on today. Not necessarily to remove all of it with the SDS drill, because I don't want to ruin it, but to at least see how thick that concrete is. Looking at what it seems like from the front, it's going to be about 5 centimetres if we're lucky. I'm hoping it's not very thick. Because if it is just about 5 centimetres, then we can just get it done with the SDS drill and we don't need to wait for something a little bit more heavy duty, which would be a bit of a problem because at the moment there's no electricity on the farm and we haven't got any solar array or anything like that set up. We have been doing quite a lot of work behind the scenes in terms of designing the electrical system, what we want that to look like. And the vast majority, I would say about 95% of the entire electrical system for the farm, or at least for the 2 buildings, is now ordered. It's coming. It's not UK level speed of delivery, so quite a lot of things. The things from Amazon are going to get delivered basically within a week and a half. Is going to work out, roughly speaking. Anything else that's coming from, we've got something coming from the Netherlands, we've got something coming from Germany, we've got a cable coming from Italy, various things like that. They're going to be at least a month, I would say, from when we ordered them until they actually get here. We ordered a couple of things from Portugal. The inverter we ordered from a Portuguese company. And that actually arrived the following day.
Wasn't it?
Yeah, even though we ordered it in the afternoon. So that was pretty good. But yeah, we've got this little bit dug out. It's going to get dug out eventually some more, but it gives us a relatively flat surface to put scaffolding on eventually. Whilst we were digging, we were coming across all sorts of rubbish. Metal insoles, for one. A lot of tins of sardines.
Sardines, we think, yeah.
Yeah. And a few shotgun shells.
Oh, a lot of shotgun shells.
And quite a bit of stone, obviously. The little stone we're not overly fussed about. We're just chucking that with the soil on the farm elsewhere. But the bigger pieces, we took them out and we actually had a bit of a practice with building up the wall the gate, well, I suppose just where the gate would have been, would be eventually. And keeping in mind, we weren't really trying that hard. I would say it looks decent, so, and it is quite fun.
Yeah.
So we're, what do we say, about 80% sure that this is coming down now?
I think so. Since we've dug it out, it looks even worse.
I don't think it moved.
Before.
So
No, I don't think
it doesn't
moved.
look worse in the sense that it moved.
No, it just looks worse. It's visually worse, isn't it?
But when you've got a relatively straight edge to sort of as a point of reference where we dug the trench, and you see how much this is bulging out, it's just, I don't think it's worth the risk of that collapsing on us at some point later on. It's much better that we take it down in a controlled manner. So not 100% yet, but 80% sure that that wall is going to be coming down, and we'll be rebuilding that ourselves. So yeah, that's where we are now. We are waiting for parts and things to get delivered.
Yeah.
What we're also going to try to get onto, make a start this week and move on to next week, is at the top of the farm where we usually have barbecue. There's already when we got the place, there was a square bit of concrete essentially, but currently it's covered by that pile of wood that you showed when we did the farm tour last week. I think it was last week. So we need to sort through that wood. Some of it just needs to get burnt because it's no good. It was basically just rotten through. It's got all sorts of holes in it, and it's absolutely no good for us. Some of it we'll be able to use for firewood next year, as in coming winter. So that needs to get cut up and stacked somewhere to the side, because that concrete patch, that's where we want to start, basically put the wood once it gets delivered for the new roof. We haven't ordered that yet, but we have been to a couple of places, a couple of sawmills, as we mentioned in a previous video, and we now know where we're going to be getting the wood from. We've got a slight issue in terms of getting the wood down here a little bit. In particular, the main beam, that's going to be a single piece spanning just over 8 meters, and basically the truck that the sawmill has is too wide for our farm track, and 8 meters long. Even with our trailers, no way we can fit 8 meters into a trailer. So we're gonna have to sort out a delivery of that ourselves. Potentially even somebody with something like a Sprinter van with the door open at the back, might work. But we'll see if we can get hold of a proper flatbed truck, one of the older ones that's narrower, smaller, to get the wood delivered, then that'd be ideal.
But we have to source that, don't we? So that's
yeah, we need to find
a little bit of a stumbling block.
A neighbour of ours is a truck driver, so we're going to speak to him and see whether he's able to.
He's bound to know somebody.
Yeah, whether either he can help or whether he knows somebody. So yeah, but we also, another thing is we don't want to get the wood ordered too soon until we're actually ready to put the roof on.
Yeah. I
because
think we got a little overexcited, didn't we? I think we were like, yeah, let's do the roof, let's get the wood. And then as we were starting to order the wood, we were like, well, actually there's a little bit of work we have to do before the wood comes, and part of that includes having electricity down here, so
yeah,
things have jumbled up a little bit.
Yeah, so we can't really, because in order to lay the ring beam, to pour the ring beam, we need a cement mixer. We don't really want to be doing that by hand because it's just going to be, you need large portions of, large batches of concrete mix. We need a cement mixer over here. Now, getting a cement mixer is not a problem, we'll get one, but it needs to be powered by something. At the moment there's nothing. Now, our power tools are battery powered, so they'll be fine, like saws, drills, those sort of things. We've got, you know, a good number of batteries for them, so the power tools will be fine. But it's things like cement mixer. If this is too thick and we need to get a heavy duty jackhammer ish anyway, then again, before we can break that up, we need electricity down here. So until we've got electricity, which isn't really gonna be happening until towards the back end of May, really, looking at when parts are due to be delivered, we're basically stalled a little bit. But there are other things which we need to prepare before we can install the system. So we're getting that sorted, like clearing the wood, where the wood for the roof's going to go.
Clearing behind the barn.
We need to clear down some of the mimosa behind the barn, because that's one of the places where the cable is going to go to feed down here. And we need to build some sort of rack for the inverter, the battery, all of that stuff, fuse board, those sort of things to go on inside the barn at the top, before we can build it, because you can't build it if you haven't got anywhere to build it, and there's no, you know, they're barns, it's just bare stone wall on the inside, so you can't just drill and hang stuff up of bare stone, bare schist on the inside, so we've got to build something to do that as well. And potentially, we don't know yet, but we may want to build some sort of shade over where the wood's going to be stored, so that it's not out in the baking sun, which is one of the reasons why we haven't ordered the wood, because yes, we could, and it could be sitting there waiting, but
it's better in the wood yard, isn't it?
It's much better in a massive hangar in the shade, in a controlled environment, rather than out here, exposed to the sun, exposed to any rain. We've had some rain over the last few days, and obviously over here, you know, there will be all sorts of bugs and stuff, which we're going to treat the wood against. But again, if we can minimise that exposure, then why not?
I think we thought we would be ordering the wood and we would have to wait for it to be available, whereas we went and he said, yeah, you could have it tomorrow. We were like, oh, that's a bit soon. So it's, but we know, we're sort of learning as we're going along, and sort of, because it's all new to us, and not only is it new to us, it's in a new country. It's, you sort of have to take it step by step. So yeah, that's where we are now. This is fine, we're done with this for the time being, we're happy with this. Next thing is going to be having a look at that and clearing the wood at the top. We'll start on that, and then probably in the next video you'll see us carrying on with the wood clearance and the mimosa clearance. We need to tackle that, that's going to be a big job. And in the background, whilst we're doing that, we'll also be working on a secret project, which is going to be, well, it's already been mentioned to the members a little bit more, but it's going to be released in a video on the channel later on, I think, once it's done, so that we can show you the whole process, because it's a smaller project, not something big as this. But yeah, we're excited about that. So, right, we're going to go and get some lunch, and then, well, and bring some PPE, because we haven't got any ear defenders or protective eyewear, and then we're going to try to chip some of this up. Right, so curiosity got the better of me, and before we go to lunch, we're just going to send the drill through the concrete in one place and see how thick it likely is, because basically it'll go a little bit slower through the concrete. As soon as it starts moving quick, that's when we know it's through it. So right, let's go.
assuming the whole concrete's similar thickness. It's about, yeah, 6 or so centimetres. I reckon I could have a proper go at smashing it up. Let's see where I can get it in a few minutes.
What are we going to do with it?
It's hardcore, so we can use it somewhere.
Use it underneath. What are we going to do with it in the meantime, though?
I'll pile it up. Just over there somewhere. We hope you enjoyed this video. If you have, do give it a thumbs up and maybe leave us a comment, and we hope to see you back next week. Until then, bye bye.